Good evening, everyone. A story is told of a group of animals having conversation. In the course of their conversation, they were asked by one of their friends. So these animals were carabao, the pig, the chicken, and the dog, and the cat. They were interviewed by the goat. And the goat asked one question addressing all of them. What do you really believe in life? The carabao was the first one to answer the question, saying, I believe in dedication and hard work. And then the chicken said, I believe in getting up early in the morning and giving hope to people to start a brand new day. And then the pig said, I believe in commitment and sacrifice by offering oneself for all. And then the dog said, I believe in friendship and loyalty. And then when it was the time for the cat to answer the question, everyone was looking at the cat. And the cat was also looking at the goat who was asking the question. And the cat said, I believe you, goat, you are standing now on my chair. Now get out of that chair because that chair is mine. The importance of ownership or owning something is part of our aspiration in life. Yet it is also a contentious issue because ownership, if not properly handled, can also turn its head on us so that the things that own us can also become our owner. They will have their own way of owning us, controlling us, influencing us, and basically exercising their power over us. In today's gospel, we have this idea of ownership. The owner of the vineyard who entrusted the vineyard, his farm, to a group of tenants. And then the agreement was that when the right time would come, the produce would have supposed to be sent to the landowner. To do that, the owner of the vineyard sent one group, the first group of servants. But we know what happened. They were intimidated, they were harmed, and some of them were killed. And then the vineyard owner again sent another group of servants. The same thing happened. And finally, he sent his son, thinking that these tenants would respect his son. But to his surprise and horror, even the son was not spared because the tenants also killed the son. Historically, this parable of Jesus, the parable of the tenants, can be likened to the history of the Israelites, that they were the vineyard, and they were the chosen people of God, entrusted to the leaders, entrusted to the scribes and the Pharisees, to the religious authorities. But instead of taking care of them, those people to whom the Israelites were entrusted abused their power and became disobedient to the will of Yahweh. They killed the prophets, and ultimately they killed Jesus, the Messiah himself. That is the historical background of today's parable. But as always, we can say that applied personally, this will have special meaning and import for us. Because indeed, many things have been entrusted to us by God. And we are owners in some ways of God's blessings in many forms. They could be our talents, they could be our skills, they could be our jobs, they could be our loved ones, they could be anything that we are enjoying in life. But always the question is, are we taking care of them in a responsible way? Are we using them in such a way that we understand that we are not really the owners of these things, but God is the one? And that our task is to ensure that we are productive, we are fruitful, but also that we are loyal to the Lord and we remain grateful to Him by being generous to one another. Because this was not the case of the tenants in today's gospel. Instead of manifesting their loyalty and gratitude to the vineyard owner, they became greedy, selfish, arrogant, and even they turned murderers for their selfish ambition. And as always, we can say, perhaps even in our case, we might have killed God by our selfishness. We might have murdered Him through our greed. We might have forgotten Him through the things that we no longer care to do for one another. We might have set aside the great benefactor because of our own arrogance and because of our own selfishness. And this is always a challenge for us. There's a value in everything that we do. Again, the gospel, the parable is talking to us about the value of work. In Second Vatican Council document, Rerum Novarum, and even the encyclical letter of Pope John Paul II, Laborem Excelsens, in 1981, both documents extol the value of work, saying that human work is uniquely a human activity, in that through our work, we do not only support ourselves or earn a source of living, but we also find a way of manifesting our dignity by creating things and doing something to contribute for the upliftment of others, the society, communities, and thereby creating something wonderful through our hands. Work can be manual, it can be intellectual. And thus, the work, therefore, is something that has been given to us by the Lord so that we will also work for Him and return everything to Him. And this is something that will remind us truly, especially in today's reality in the midst of the pandemic when many people are losing their jobs. We need to be grateful for some of us who are still able to work. And it is no longer a joke to find source of living these days, because I think the number of people who have been rendered jobless because of the pandemic is going up, and it is not slowing down anytime soon. But whether work as a source of livelihood or work for the sake of doing something that will help us and help others, these things are all part of God's graciousness and all part of God's generosity. And therefore, the challenge for us is to return to the Lord whatever we have, entrust these things to Him, be grateful to Him, and express our loyalty to Him by our faithfulness and commitment to serve. Let us all rise, and together we profess our faith.